Good afternoon. Welcome to the Dave MacMillan Show. This is for Nick McNeil Jones or Nick Jones McNeil or whatever, right? Okay, so you were a legal assistant to Scott Taylor during my case. Okay, so leading up to my case and the determination and all that type of stuff, right? There was a plea that Stephen Potter and Magistrate Stephanie Tonkin and Magistrate Graham Hillian, a mitigated plea, right? That had that, like, it was a misunderstanding for me saying something that was racist against the Taliban, who were still people that Australia was really fond of at that time. Okay, so what they said was, okay, you have to plead guilty, but there's not going to be any conviction recorded, so it's not going to damage like your ability to travel or your career or anything like that. And then in the end, they hit me with that. So out the front of the courthouse, Scott Taylor shook in front of my mum and Nick and apologized and said that he'd fucked up and that he meant to be able to, he promised me that there'd be no conviction recorded and that all the documentation between Stephen Potter, Graham Hillian, police prosecutions in Caloundra, and Stephen Potter and him said that I was, it was all mitigated, right? And so he said that there was no conviction recorded. So you see, Stephen Potter has crashed his car on Little Mountain and no conviction recorded. Scott Taylor has done all these crimes, no conviction recorded. All these guys, right, have been involved, no conviction recorded. They set me up one time for getting into a disagreement with Dilbaz Farhat and Ada Farhat and fucking Amy War, who were friends with Samantha War, who's a Nazi fucking crazy Greens person and stuff. Junkie too, fucking junkie, that fucking chick. Right, so this town now know like the hierarchy and everything. So what Scott Taylor said was like, you don't owe me any legal fees because like I fucked up, I screwed the pup, and because you have conviction recorded. And I said that you shouldn't have conviction recorded. So everything from there is him going back on it and then saying that now I owe him money. But ask Nick McNeil Jones, because Nick McNeil Jones was there when Scott Taylor shook my hand out the front of the courthouse with my mum and apologized to my mum and me about the conviction recorded and said that we didn't owe any money to Fox Taylor Mildwaters legal firm because of the fact that he had promised us particular result and not delivered on it, so there was no bill. So ask Nick McNeil Jones. If he's saying that that's not the case, he's fucking lying for Scott.